Walter had just contacted his teacher, Tristan Gabriel, on a video call to help decide who was right about the antique box, him or Kevin. Everyone in the store was very impressed to see that Walter actually knew the most prominent antique appraiser in the country. Then one of them realized that Kevin was the guy that they'd heard about who married into the Jones family to sponge off of them. Walter smiled smugly. At first, he thought that Kevin might be some kind of genius at antique appraisal. But if what everyone was saying was true, he didn't have anything to worry about. He started to feel even more contempt for Kevin. "Kevin, what are you doing?" Lily tugged on her husband's sleeve to try and get him to back down. But Kevin waved Lily off casually. He picked up the box and held it so that it would show up clearly on Walter's phone. Walter saw that Kevin actually wanted his teacher to get a good look and started to worry that maybe he'd made a mistake. But the onlookers didn't realize what was going on. They thought that Kevin was just acting foolish and would soon be put in his place. Walter began to wonder if Kevin knew something that he didn't. Then Kevin spoke directly to the camera. "Tristan, open your eyes and take a good look at the box. You can see that it probably belonged to the French nobility in the 14th century. My guess is it was involved in a marriage proposal. Don't you think so?" Then he said very impolitely, "Or do you need to get new glasses?" "Kevin, don't be so rude. How can you speak to Mr. Gabriel like that?" Truman was shocked at Kevin's behavior. Walter got angry too. "Who do you think you are, Kevin? Nobody talks to Mr. Gabriel that way." The rest of the onlookers were also taken aback. How could Kevin be so disrespectful to a national expert? But what they heard next surprised them even more. "Is that you, Kevin? Kevin Williams?" Gabriel became very excited and said, "I'm sorry I didn't notice it was you. Walter, what kind of cheap cell phone are you using? Can't you get a clearer image? I can barely see anything." Walter couldn't believe what he was hearing. His phone was brand new and top of the line, but he didn't dare correct his mentor. "Are you sure it's not a crack in your screen? I remember you were always dropping your phone." Kevin was chatting with him like they were old friends, and the onlookers were dumbfounded. Truman was absolutely speechless as he tried to figure out how Kevin knew the man. And Lily stared at Kevin, wondering how many other things he hadn't told her. "I know what you mean. I'll be more careful about that, buddy." Gabriel replied to Kevin like there was no difference in age between them. None of the other people in the store understood what was going on, especially Walter. He looked at Kevin in disbelief. He'd been studying with Tristan Gabriel for almost 8 years, and he'd never seen anything like this. "Sorry to have bothered you with this, my friend. I'll call you back when we have more time to chat." Then Kevin disconnected the call on Walter's phone. He handed the phone back to him and put the box back on the counter. Then he picked up the rag and wiped the box a little more, revealing the intricate details of the carvings for everyone to see. "What are you all looking at? Do I have spinach in my teeth or something?" Kevin felt everyone's eyes on him as they tried to grasp what they just witnessed. Was Kevin just as good as Tristan Gabriel? It certainly sounded like it. Kevin shook his head as he thought about how he knew Tristan. When he was a child, his family was really close to the Finch family and especially to Frederick Finch. So he ended up living with their family and studying with them for almost 8 years. Gabriel trained under Frederick much later. Frederick liked Kevin a lot and recognized his raw talent, so he helped him develop and hone his abilities. Since Kevin had met Frederick before him, Gabriel jokingly treated the young man like an older brother. "So, Truman, do you still want to buy this medieval ivory box?" Kevin asked with a smile. "Of course I'll buy it," Truman replied excitedly. Now that he knew more about the box, he was tempted to keep it as a family heirloom. It would be a shame to turn around and sell it. "Mr. Jordan, are you asking the same price?" Truman hesitated now that everyone was certain that they were looking at an extremely valuable antique. "Of course I am. I gave you my word, didn't I? $2 million, no more, no less." Mr. Jordan was also very excited. The other antique experts in the room were a little jealous of Truman, but not too upset because they wouldn't have been able to afford a $2 million purchase anyway. Their shops weren't doing nearly as well as Anderson Antiques. Kevin looked at Mr. Jordan and gave him a nod of approval. He could easily have tried to increase the price after finding out the true value of the item, but he didn't. "Well, my wife and I came here to do some antiquing. I guess we'll go take a little stroll." Kevin took Lily's hand and started to walk towards the door. But Lily didn't say anything more. She just gave Kevin a wink. Everyone stared at Kevin in absolute awe. They definitely wanted to follow him around. If he was interested in anything in one of the local shops, it was guaranteed that it wouldn't be junk. Kevin realized he needed to get rid of the group so he and Lily could wander more freely. "I think I saw some Chicago Cubs autographed baseballs in the store halfway down the block. It looks like they're only asking for half of what they're worth." As soon as the words came out of his mouth, the whole group practically sprinted for the door. Phoebe's father looked a little concerned. "Don't worry, Truman. They're asking for half of what they're worth, but I know they only paid half of what they're asking. The store will get a hefty profit, and so will everyone else." Kevin smiled reassuringly.
Hi, Kevin here. If you're wondering what happens next, then stay tuned on the Pocket FM Universe channel for more episodes.